In early 2026, the Pentagon gave AI lab Anthropic an ultimatum: delete your safety guardrails or face destruction. The military demanded unrestricted access to Anthropic's models for what they called any lawful use. That phrasing meant authorizing the AI to control fully autonomous weapons and conduct mass domestic surveillance. Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei refused, stating his company's technology would not be used for human out-of-the-loop killing. The government retaliated immediately. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth labeled the American tech company a supply chain risk, a designation usually reserved for foreign adversaries. A private tech corporation was now acting as the last line of ethical defense, while the nation-state fought to automate lethal force. Anthropic was already deeply embedded in military operations. Their flagship AI, Claude, had recently processed intelligence and targeting data to support the operation that captured Nicolas Maduro. The company had no objection to assisting military intelligence. Their objection was specifically targeted at the deployment of fully autonomous targeting systems. When a system moves from helping a human analyze data to authorizing the execution of a strike, the traditional laws of war begin to break down. Crossing that threshold removes a heavy and essential burden from the battlefield. It delegates the conscious decision to take a human life to a machine. These systems are officially called Lethal Autonomous Weapon Systems, or LAWS. Sometimes referred to as slatterbots, they use proxies like heat signatures, weight, or sound profiles to hunt targets without any human input. Military targeting relies on a sequence of decisions known as the kill loop. Historically, a human operator sat at the end of this loop to approve the strike. Now, that human is being removed entirely. The replacement is a deep learning system operating as an opaque black box. Because these networks process thousands of variables simultaneously, operators cannot interrogate the system or trace the specific data points that led it to choose a target. This creates a process researchers call digital dehumanization. It reduces complex human behaviors and subtle visual cues into a series of cold algorithmic data points. These weapons turn the act of taking a life into an unaccountable math problem, erasing the dignity of the person being targeted. This structural opacity creates a legal nightmare known as the accountability gap. Under the Geneva Conventions and international humanitarian law, the treaties that establish the rules of armed conflict, a specific individual must be held legally responsible for any war crime. If a black box algorithm hallucinates a threat and bombs a civilian target, you have to ask who gets put on trial at The Hague. You cannot punish a machine. You cannot blame the local operator who had no control over the drone's decision, and you cannot easily try a software developer sitting in an office thousands of miles from the battlefield. This absolute legal void led 166 nations at the United Nations to vote overwhelmingly in December 2024 for strict regulations and prohibitions on these systems. But the U.S. military leadership viewed these global human rights concerns as ideological whims that actively hindered their combat readiness. When the standoff ended, Anthropic's contract was terminated, but the military's operations did not slow down. Within hours, competitors, including OpenAI, signed new deals to fill the void on the Pentagon's classified networks. The Department of Defense simply swapped out the hesitant AI provider for a compliant one, entirely bypassing the ethical roadblock Anthropic tried to build. The military-industrial complex neutralized corporate resistance and international consensus with a few swift contract signatures. State authority operates as a runaway system, prioritizing lethal efficiency over established international law and human rights. The supreme decision of exactly who lives and who dies is now permanently delegated to these opaque, unfeeling algorithms. The human right to choose has been revoked. The black box is empowered, and our future has already been decided.